everywhere. People come over, they eat, they don't clean up after themselves.
Yeah. No, it's like with my youngest. I mean, she just turned, like I said, just turned 19, and she already understands that, you
The
know,
concept.
yeah, the concept of working hard to get to where you want to be. And for her, she's taking a route that she thinks will get her closest to her goal, faster.
And, and that's what you got to do.
You
If
know,
you want, if you want something, if you have a goal in mind,
hmm
you have to be able to go for your goal and
yes.
work
Yeah.
towards that goal.
Yep.
Otherwise, that goal's never going to get met.
Exactly.
It's like my youngest. Yeah, granted, she waits tables
hmm
and she doesn't stay at one place forever. She'll get mad and then she'll quit. She'll go find another place
hmm
because they're always needing waitresses somewhere.
Right.
And right now, she's working on a cruise. She applied to get a cruise. She applied and she went through the training to go to get the job on a cruise ship. I
hmm
don't know what she's doing on the cruise ship. I don't know if she went on the cruise ship
Okay.
because she doesn't tell me nothing.
Okay.
But that's what she was working on doing.
Okay.
But my oldest daughter, she was going to culinary school.
hmm
Then she was going to, then she was going to this school. Then she was going to that school. Then she got a job. Then she did this. Then she needed money. She needed more money. She got another job. I'll pay you back when I get paid. It's like, no, you won't, because you never pay me back anything.
Right.
So it's like, why would I send you when
Yeah.
you can't even take care of yourself?
Fair enough.
And you can't, and you're having kids, you can't take care of your kids. And by Texas state law, because the two oldest ones live with their father, she has to
hmm
pay child support. Well, guess what? Welcome to the fucking real world. Because I had to pay my child support.
Well, I mean, when that's one of the other
If you
things too
if you
is
can't afford them, don't have them.
well, that, and all of our actions have consequences. Every action has a reaction,
Yep. If you're
and
gonna play, you're gonna pay.
pretty much.
That's the way the world works.
Exactly.
In
And you can't sit there blaming everybody else because it was your actions that got you in the position that you're in. Yeah, and it's
so he's writing a mystery book. It's no way in.
a
Let's not throw
mystery.
that out there. But yeah, so it's like, why are why? It makes no sense what they do these days.
Yeah,
Like some
and
people, they work hard
yeah,
to get what they want,
yep.
and then you see all these entitled people. Well, they owe it. No, they don't owe you squat.
Nobody, no.
That's your parents' fault. They're
Yeah,
not teaching you what you fucking need to do.
yeah.
Don't blame society because you don't have a fucking grasp on fucking reality.
This is
Blame your
true.
parents.
Well, and that's the other part too is, it's like I will admit it, I spoiled my kids. I and part of it was because it was just me, and sometimes it was just
Well,
easier because of the freaking bickering and other shit that would go on. But at the same time, I also tried to teach them that if they wanted something, they had to work for it. And I would
yeah,
do it in
I mean,
different ways.
yeah, I'm not just gonna give it to you.
Exactly. And like with my daughter's father, um, he was just like, well, you're a bad influence on her. And it's just like, because there's this, okay, so she wanted a nose ring. She was 15. And
Right.
I told her, I said, okay, we'll do this. Or was it nose ring? No. She wanted she wanted a second set of piercings in her ears. It was some sort of piercing that she wanted. And I
Well,
was like,
yeah, I mean, that's fine.
and
As long as it's not a tattoo.
um and I told her, I says, okay, I tell you what, you go to school, you bring me at least
Nay.
all B's on your report card. All B's. Nothing lower than a B. No B minuses, no C's, nothing like that. It has to be a B or higher. And
Which is what it should be.
um and uh she did it. She worked her butt off because her report card at the time were C's and D's. So and I told her, you want this, you have to go through, and this is the deal. You do this, and sure, I'll take you. I'll pay for it too. You know,
Right. I
Y-
mean,
you do that, and her father was just like, well, you're a bad influence. Blah blah
how?
blah, and. It was funny because she said that he made her go to therapy when she was visiting him, and um, he brought it up to the therapist, and he tried to paint me in a negative light. He always did. He always tried to paint me in a negative light. That's why after she turned 18, I cut him off completely. I did not want to have anything to do with him after she turned 18.
Yeah,
Um,
I cut my wife off after I moved out. Still,
um,
my kids would get in touch with me. Dad, I need a computer.
yeah.
Well, my
Well,
youngest one, she was going through school,
uh,
and she goes, "I need a laptop, Dad."
Well, you see,
Like, well,
he tried to still keep in contact with me because, she was still living at home and everything, and it was like, no, you don't get to tell me now or ever again how to raise my daughter or do how to do things in my house. You can go to
exactly.
hell. You can go to hell
It's
because
none of your business.
it really isn't, and he always tried to insert himself into everything that I did, and then he tried to make it seem to this therapist, that I was, doing bad things with so that he could take it to the court and say that, well, the therapist said blah blah blah. And the therapist asked my daughter, okay, so what is your mom doing? And this is where I kind of laugh because it backfired on him.
Right.
My mom told me that if I want this, I had to work for it, and this is what I have to do in order to do it. And the therapist looked at him and was like,
Get the fuck out of here.
what is wrong with that? She's teaching her that if she wants something, there are goals that she has to do in order to be able to have that something. How is that being a bad influence?
Exactly.
She is teaching her the way the world
Responsibility.
works and responsibility. Exactly. So my daughter was like, yeah, he was really mad about that.
Well,
Yeah.
see, when I moved out, uh, my youngest was, I think, 8 at the time.
Uh-huh.
And when she called me and she had, growing up later in life, she said she needed a computer.
Right.
Right. This is like in 2013. Uh, so I just came back from being deployed.
Okay.
So I had a second laptop.
Okay.
It was an Alienware.
I
So
have
I
one of
just
those.
boxed it. So I just boxed it up and sent it to her.
Right. Right.
And then uh, she was happy with it. And it's a gaming laptop and all that good stuff.
Right.
And
Right.
my other two daughters, Christmas, I bought them El Cheapo laptops. Like, I think it was like $500-600
Mm-hmm.
for a laptop, or
Right.
might have been 300. I don't know. It was $399, something like that. A laptop.
Mm-hmm.
It was
Right.
nothing special.
Right.
Their mom tried to override and supersede and buy them, uh, what the fuck is it? Those tablets.
Mm-hmm.
And their mom always made me out. She goes, "Well, mom's the my youngest said, well, mom's never said anything." It's like, well, she doesn't have any right to say anything bad about me. I
Right.
paid my child support.
Right. Right.
You need something, I get you what you need.
Right.
And I'm not sitting there go, well, maybe you should. No, you live in Texas. I'm not there.
Right.
So, because if I'd have stayed there,
Mm-hmm.
what would have ended up happening is no matter what I would have done, she would have found a way.
To make it be a bad thing.
Yeah, and to foister the kids off on me.
Honestly.
So it's like, because she would do that
Mm-hmm.
when they were going to school.
Okay.
It's like my daughter did a talent contest or
Okay. The talent.
something,
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
talent show or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And instead of the whole family going, because she didn't want to go,
Mm-hmm.
she said, "Well, you just take her."
You're her mom.
Right? It's like, or when they were, when she was big into going to church and shit like that.
Uh-huh.
It's like, well, I don't feel like going. You take the kids. No, if you're not going, we're not going.
Yeah.
Because I'm not taking them there by myself.
Right.
So fuck off. It's like, I ain't playing that shit.
Oh,
But yeah,
it's
so I know if I'd have stayed there, that
you would have wound up doing a lot more, doing basically all of the raising without any of the benefit.
exactly, and still paying child support.
Yeah, I get you.
So it's like, no, no, no.
Yeah.
So
No,
we've got,
it was kind of like my mother, and what she was doing with my father. She first she did her damnedest to turn myself and my sister against my father. And as an adult now, I understand why my father made the choices that he did, just because I understand the manipulation that my mother did.
see,
Um,
my oldest daughter and my youngest daughter don't understand that.
yeah,
My middle daughter goes, everybody has their own experiences.
yes,
You had your experience
yeah,
with mom.
yep,
And my youngest daughter tried to tell me, well, you don't know what you're talking about. It's like, you said, she goes, you can't talk bad about mom. It's like, the fuck I can't. You weren't married to her.
yeah,
I can speak to anybody. I can speak about anybody how I fucking want.
yeah,
You didn't have that experience.
yeah.
You weren't made to feel like a paycheck.
This is
And
true.
that's all that mattered.
Yep.
It's like, you don't understand the uh, the trauma per se
Mhm.
that I went through, the
Right.
abuse that I went through.
Mhm.
Because she would ask me what I want for dinner. I would tell her, I don't feel like that. And then go cook whatever the fuck she wanted anyway. So why the fuck ask me?
Exactly.
It's like,
At
or I
least
come
with
home from,
me, I come with when if I'm not really feeling, what everybody else wants is like, well, here's a compromise. I'll make you what you want, and then I'll make myself something else. And it's just like,
or
cause yeah,
I would come home from work and I say, well, what's for dinner? She goes, I don't feel like cooking. It's pick out night. It's like,
mm,
well, fuck. Now I've just worked 12 hours a day and I got to cook my own goddamn dinner. Well,
yeah.
you've been sitting on your fucking ass all day, not doing shit.
I try
The
not to
fuck's
do. I try really hard not to do that. It's like because my hubby, he works really really hard, and he does a lot. He's busted his ass to ensure that we have pretty much
what you
everything
need?
we yeah, and I understand that. So it's like,
Well, if
I'm not always good at staying on top of things, but at the same time, I try to always let him know that I appreciate the hard work that he puts in,
see, I never got any appreciation. That was the thing. I was
which is
not
wrong.
appreciated,
That shouldn't have
and
happened.
and that kind of fucking just pissed me off. All the fuck, and then she would lie.
Yep.
It's like, well, where? I came home one day and the lights were off, and I go, "Didn't you pay the electric bill?" She goes, "No. Well, the kids needed school clothes." It's like,
Uh
well, we need the electricity on before they need school clothes.
yeah.
Or how come you didn't pay the rent? We're getting an eviction notice. Well, we just need to go to the church and ask for help
No.
because the church of Latter Day Saints, the
Uh-huh.
Mormon Church, will help you out.
Uh
You can go and ask for help financially, or I don't know how many times I've gone to the bishop's storehouse to get food
okay.
because we didn't have the money. And the fucked up thing is I'm making 25
What is
and I
she
get
spending
paid.
all the money on?
I don't know. And that's the shit that fucking got me. And it's like, and she would do that shit all the fucking time. So it's like, and and every time I ask her about it, she'd get mad, fucking storm out of the room. You don't know what you're talking about. It's like, well, fuck. Fucking tell me. I don't care where the money went. Just tell me where the fuck I spent it.
Right?
It's like, that way I have an idea.
Yeah. Well, and
But
that's
no,
and for me, knowing the fact that my husband works really hard, and we have a couple of bills that we've accumulated over the years that we're working on paying down, and we're getting it all squared away. I try
right.
really hard not to do any extra spending because it makes his life harder.
Exactly.
And if I do, and if there's something that I want, or something that I want, that there's something that I want to do, I go to him and I say, okay, this is what I'd like to do. Is it
Do we have the
feasible?
money?
Can we do it now? Do we have to wait? Or is it just a bad idea in general? And so
And see,
I
my
so I try
ex-wife
and
didn't do that shit.
yeah, I
She
try
was
not
just
to make life harder.
so. So one day, I was getting ready to get deployed on my first deployment.
Okay.
She got, I think it was like, we got a lot of money in from our the taxes at the end of the year.
Okay.
So I'm big into PlayStation. Been
Mhm.
playing PlayStation for a while.
Yeah,
Got a
yeah.
PlayStation 2.
Mhm.
A month prior to that, we get our income tax back.
Okay.
And she's at the store. She didn't tell me that she was at the store. Well, she called me, told me